Hi guys, Richard here, PGA golf coach at the Golf Centre in Colville. Just wanted to share out with you guys what we offer, what services we offer, and what sort of stuff we get up to in our performance studio. We've got some high-tech gear in there, including video analysis, high-speed video. We've got a flight scope launch monitor, and new to the academy for this year, we've got body track pressure mapping. Just want to show you some pressure mapping for those that are not aware of it and its benefits. Pressure mapping shows players how they use the feet and how they can use ground force reactions to be a more efficient player, or to create some more power. On the screen, one of the players we work with demonstrates a really good pressure trace. When he starts, he has fairly even pressure between left and right foot, also fairly even between toe and heel, so he starts in a really balanced way. And then as he swings back and starts to move the club, you'll see the pressure, which is this white ball here. You'll see the pressure move to the right side, the trail side in this case, and he gets a good pressure shift, 80% pressure into the trail foot during the backstroke, and then during the forward stroke, that pressure moves to the left into the lead foot. You'll see the pressure moving quite quickly from trail foot to lead foot as he starts to bring the golf club down. And down here at impact with the golf ball, when the club gets to impact, you'll see this player's got 86% pressure back in his lead foot. The whole trace is a very, what we call, linear trace. It goes back and through, very slick. This golfer plays off 9 handicap, and a really good example of how to use your feet efficiently in a golf stroke. We've got some examples of some other players that we work with that have really benefited from using the technology. This player is a mid-handicapper, so still a nice player, but you'll see a very different trace here. Again, the player fairly balanced. We did do a little bit of work on that, but fairly balanced when he starts. But if you watch the pressure trace over here, you'll see during the backswing there's no transfer of pressure into the trail foot. In fact, it stays in the centre of his body and just pops out there towards the toes. So there's no pressure going to the trail foot. It's just in fact going to the toes, and then during the downswing the pressure moves more to the left. So not a linear trace. This player struggling with his ball flight at the moment, hitting some quite low shots. Lost his ball flight, losing distance. We showed him this information, and we started to do a little bit of a drill. So there's a little bit of a drill here immediately. If you're starting to look at these traces, a more linear trace, and when I say linear, a more right to left trace. What we actually did for this player is on the backswing, we asked him to take his left foot, his lead foot, off the floor as a little bit of a drill. So during the backstroke, we got the player to lift his lead foot. So you'll see lead foot come off the floor, no pressure on the mat, 100% pressure in the trail foot, and then we asked him to plant the left foot down. I think we asked him to take his trail foot off the floor through impact. We asked him to plant that back down. You'll see the pressure move back to the left, and a much better trace. So during the session we worked on this a little bit. He really started to see a different ball flight, much higher, much more powerful with that linear trace. And then towards the end of the session we normalised the swing. So he kept both feet in contact with the floor. He didn't use the drill. Again, you can see it's not perfect, but a much more linear trace, a much more right to left trace compared to what the player had at the start. Pressure moving over to the trail foot, but he still keeps his lead foot in contact with the floor, and then the pressure moves back to the left hand side through impact. So there's an example of how one player has benefited from using body track. We've got an example of another golfer and another pressure trace. Again, no back trace whatsoever, so there's no pressure moving into the back foot during the back swing. Pressure just stays in the middle. In this case, it actually goes a little bit into the lead foot, so he's got a reverse pivot or a reverse pressure trace, and then he actually has to back up here during the downswing to make any kind of hit of the shot. So he's backing up to try and get out of the way, and then he goes through towards the end of the session. Again, much more linear, understood the information, found the system really easy to use. Pressure moves to the right side and then back to the left side. We can get them lines better, we can keep the pressure more in the middle of his feet, but pretty good for 40-minute session. High speed video for anybody that's interested in seeing the swing. We've got some high speed video here. We can slow the swing down as much as we want. There's absolute clarity of club and shaft, club face and shaft. We can slow this down. We can split screen it. This player, we were working on a little bit of a drill. He's really keen to shorten his arc. He's also really keen to have less club across the line at the top. So we used a little drill where we've put an impact ball in between his forearms. So you can see a little bit of a different position there at the top. This player is really keen to get into that position. But the clarity of the cameras that we use is fantastic. We've got a face on of this player with the ball in between the forearms. This was before. This was when we was doing a bit of work with the impact ball. Completely different. Again, absolute clarity of shaft and face. Really good images. We can compare these strokes to professional players. We can drag in different players if we want to, and look at what they get up to. So high speed video, body track, flight scope. All clients get, if they wish, get these lessons video emailed to them at the end of the session, so that when they go away they've got some really good stuff to practice. Guys, if we can help with anything at all, our contact number is 01530 587 300.